Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence. Prez and Teddy covers is our co-host. It's Thursday. We have football, and we've got lots of betting information coming your way. Marco D'Angelo will be joining us right off the bat. He's going to talk about the Rutgers-Nebraska game. He's also going to look at Cincinnati and Baltimore, a game that is interesting, especially with Cincinnati, and one that I kind of like over, yet so many people like under. We'll talk about that. We've got Bryan Power, late minute edition. He's going to look at tonight's football game, the Bucs and the Falcons. He's also going to take apart the Mets and Brewers game. We're going to end this puppy with Dave Sharapan. If we get 100 likes, I will take apart the Jets and Minnesota. Teddy, my brother, what is your big game breakdown?
Big game breakdown. We're going to talk some college football, Big Ten style, Iowa versus Ohio State. And in What Bettors Learned, we're going to talk MLB baseball. What works? Not necessarily. What doesn't work? We'll talk about it.
I had such a dreadful baseball season. I actually shut it down. I stopped putting out picks for my clients. And once you shut it down, it's like, who's in the play? Who made the play? I don't have a clue what's going on in baseball, and I've never felt better about it. It is quite liberating. Not the result I wanted. I wish that I was vested in all of these games and that I had an incredible season. But man, do you ever do that when you're seeing a sport badly for 3-4 months? You ever just shut it down and be like, okay,
I shut down baseball before. Yeah, if you're having a baseball season that nothing's working and football rolls around, I've been where you're at. Unfortunately, it's nothing to laugh at because the reason you shut it down is because you lost money and you lost money for your clients. So it's not really a great thing when that happens.
Right, it's the worst.
It's happened. It has happened to me, Lawrence. I'm sorry it's happened to you this year. Marco
D'Angelo, you've never shut it down. No chance in hell, bro. Firstly, you're an egomaniac everyone knows, so you're always going to think tomorrow you will win. But you probably have just never done bad enough over a stretch of time to shut it down, right?
No, I had one baseball season. It was horrendous. I couldn't do anything right. Was on the wrong side of every extra inning, situation. And I haven't shut it down, but I adjust my rating system. You move the scale down whenever you're losing. You should do that. Any season. If you're winning, you press. If you're losing, you back it up and maximize your profits when you are seeing it right. And that's just the way to do it. Goes to money management. And when you've done it for 4+ decades, you take your hard knocks along the way and you learn from your mistakes and make sure you don't do those things again.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick because what you said there, Marco, is worth noting and worth emphasizing. When you're seeing things clearly is when you up your wager sizes. I see so many bettors. They have a bad week. They have a bad stretch. They're like, oh, I'm going to press. I'm going to double up. And that's the worst betting advice that I can think of. When you're seeing things clearly is when you up your unit sizes. When you're seeing things poorly, like Marco did, like I've done at times, and like unfortunately Lawrence has done this year, you downgrade. And you bet less, not more. You're not trying to catch up in a sport that you're not seeing well.
Teddy, Sorry. It is a fascinating... It's a fascinating question. The concept of if you're seeing it well, do you up your bets? People play blackjack as they win a hand, they up their bets. And I understand that strategy. And I respect that strategy. I don't do that strategy. So for me, I never up my bets. And I never lower my bets. It's always around 2% 3% of my bankroll. And as you win, your bet's up itself because you're winning and your bankroll expands. And as you lose, they decrease. But I never actually up them. There's never step out times. I never sit there and we used to. I mean, we were all young once. We used to be like, oh, we won 7 in a row, man. Oh, my God. I got this Buffalo Bills team down, baby. There's no way I can lose. I'm tripling my bet, and the next week is like 40-3 the other way. So we've all been there, bro, and we've all been hardened enough. If you are upping your bet, which I'm not opposed to, make it a small up. Right?
Let's talk
Small
about
up.
Rutgers and Nebraska.
I thought what we were talking about was better than Rutgers. For the record, this shit that we just talked about is freaking gold. Rutgers and Nebraska, 700 million people have an opinion on that game. Marco, he's is the most important. Go ahead.
Well, you finally got that right, Prez. I can finally agree with you on something. Yeah, Rutgers and Nebraska. When you first look at this game, guys, you see an undefeated Rutgers team getting a touchdown, and you're like, hey, let's jump on the undefeated team getting a touchdown. Nebraska, they still have, the stigma from the last several years not being a good team. This is a different Nebraska team, and I'm going to be honest with you. Rutgers, I got some question marks on that undefeated season, especially you look on paper, the last two games, they were impressive wins. They beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech. They beat Washington last week at home. Well, two things to point out. 2 weeks ago when they beat Virginia Tech, they caught Virginia Tech the week before Virginia Tech was playing Miami of Florida on national TV on a standalone Friday night game. It was a look-ahead spot for Virginia Tech, and I think they got caught with their pants down in that game, and Rutgers was able to escape. Last week, they played Washington at home on a Friday night. Washington had to make that trek across country. We made fun about the conference realignment when these Pac-12 schools had to come east, especially to play teams like Maryland or play Rutgers all across country. It's going to be bad for them. Well, it was bad for Washington, but they still almost won that game. They only lost by 3. But did you notice who Washington had on deck? Yeah, this week, Michigan. Do you remember the last time they played Michigan? It was the national championship game last year. Talk about a look-ahead spot. So Rutgers, to me, is a counterfeit undefeated team, and they can't stop the run. They're giving up 5.9 yards per carry on the ground. Nebraska's going to have success running the football. And when they do, it's just going to open up a good passing game that's been having success this year. Dylan Raiola is the real deal there in Nebraska, quarterback. He's going to have a field day, I feel, in this game because Rutgers is going to be back on their heels trying to stop the run, and it's going to set up a lot of stuff, play action, and open up downfield. I like Nebraska at home. I'm laying the points. I said at the beginning of the season, I was wrong. They had that one hiccup against Illinois. I thought Nebraska would be undefeated when they head to Ohio State for that showdown, but they're going to head there with one loss. Give me Nebraska. I've got them winning this one 27-16.
So in one sense, the Matt Rule era was very much like the Scott Frost era. And that is so far, Nebraska hasn't just been a bad home favorite. They've been a disastrous home favorite when it comes to Big Ten play. I've got the Huskers with 1 point spread cover in 6 tries at home. Not even home favorite, at home. The home field hasn't been worth anything. That one came against Purdue last year. They had 1 try as a home favorite. This year they lost straight up as they were 9.5 at the close against Illinois. And Illinois beat them soundly. There was nothing fraudulent about that win. Illinois was a better team that night. So given that track record, for not just the program, for this head coach at this program, 1-5 ATS at home in conference play. Does that concern you even a little bit against the competition they're facing tonight? Rutgers team that finds ways to hang around in games. Rutgers are never pretty, but they find ways to hang around.
No question. They play close games, Teddy. I can't argue that point, but I'm going to say 2 things. One, Illinois is a pretty good football team. They're better than Rutgers. Situational-wise, you brought up that's the only home favorite role they've had so far this year in conference play. They are 4-0 in their other games against the spread this year. They've won and covered all the other games. And this is year 2 of Matt Rule. And we know what he has done over his career, wherever he's gone. Year 2 has been a monster turnaround. So to isolate the one game this year, Illinois, yeah, add it to last year, it's a bad stat. But to say, as you like to say sometimes too, that's a very small sample size for year 2 with Rule. Let's see what happens this week.
Let me just ask you this.
D'Angelo,
Because they went 4-0 ATS in the other games, does that leave them a little bit overvalued here? That's, I mean, they weren't bad ATS last year in non-conference play either. But does that leave them overvalued when we talk about the conference games?
I think the fact that Rutgers is undefeated is keeping this line right where it should be. I don't think it's overvalued at all. I still think people don't believe in Nebraska because they don't have that signature win yet. I mean, their claim to fame this year was the Colorado game, okay? And Colorado's been all over the place. They're either really good in a game or really bad. We'll see when they start playing games like this. And to me, this is a big game for them at home against Rutgers, a team that is undefeated. Then they've got, a cupcake, not a cupcake, but they go to Indiana next week, which could be, circle that. That is a game before the Ohio State game. You want to talk about, a dangerous trap spot. That might be it next week, but not this week here at home.
Marco D'Angelo. Guys, before we get into Marco's next game, Baltimore and Cincinnati, dude's on an 11-2 run in 5% plays. Teddy, I feel a bit left out here. Yesterday we had, an 11-0 run in 5% plays. Today we got a guy who's 11-2. His last 13 5% plays. Outstanding work, dude. 3-0 this football season. Little bit jelly, I gotta be honest, Marco. These are outstanding numbers. You guys can get Marco's 5% play for $35. Or what, Marco?
Grab the 7-day all access this week. It's a great deal, $77, and that's site-wide, not just me. You could pick up anybody at WagerTalk, and it's the way to go. Don't miss out on plays. You get everything for the whole week. You get it sent to you the minute it is loaded into the system, so you can get the best number. And as Prez said, $35 for a 5%. That's, you're almost halfway there for a 7-day package, and we are 13-7 over the last 10 days with all of our plays. So it's not just those 5% plays, which are 3-0 so far this football season and 11-2 going back to last February.
Marco D'Angelo. Okay, brother, let's get into maybe the game of the week. Surprised it did not make the Sunday night card. Don't they get to pick, right? They pick Dallas and Pittsburgh. No, they don't get to pick. I thought they did.
Before the season, they picked Dallas and Pittsburgh. Late in the season, there's flex games on Sunday nights.
Okay.
And,
Go ahead.
Dallas and Pittsburgh is a draw. The fan bases are always going to go there. So you mentioned Dallas and Pittsburgh, and they put that graphic up. We're talking Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Why don't we talk Dallas and Pittsburgh? How big a loss is Parsons and Lawrence here? I like Dallas. I don't know what to do. How about one of you tell me what to do in this game?
Don't take Dallas.
Don't take Dallas.
Okay, Dallas it is. 3% play. Okay, Marco. So Cincinnati, absolute massive game for the Bengals. A massive game for both teams. But I feel like Cincinnati basically has to win this football game. They're at home. They're a dog here. Plus 2.5. 2 questions. Any chance we get a 3? And should we take the 2.5?
Well, I don't think you're going to miss out if you sit there and wait. If it goes to 2, you lose a half a point, but that half a point isn't as valuable as the half a point if you sit around and wait to see a 3. This is a spot. Last week, self-plug, I had Baltimore as my 5% last week. That was my biggest play of the weekend. And the reason was, we see it every year. And, Teddy does a great segment on Bet On It, where have you heard the name of it, Prez, what we call the segment? It's Just the Tip. Teddy.
I heard it's an ode to the Prez for starting every show ever and then losing all his guests to bet on it and not ever getting invited to be on the show. Wasn't that the catchy name?
No, it wasn't. But moving along, the situation
I
is
tried.
Teddy likes to point out teams that might be overvalued or undervalued. Well, last week I went with Baltimore because Buffalo was overvalued. Buffalo was the flavor of the week. They had won back-to-back games on national TV, playing Thursday night and Monday night in back-to-back weeks, and everybody saw them as world beaters. But who'd they beat? They beat Miami, that lost Tua in that game, and we saw what Miami's offense is without Tua. And then they beat up on a Jacksonville team that is in total disarray down there. They've got to be on everybody's, do not bet list right now. So I wasn't impressed with Buffalo, yet the public was loving them. Baltimore got the job done. Now, after they blasted Buffalo, it's Baltimore that's the flavor of the week. It's Baltimore that's moved up everybody's power depth chart in rankings. This is Cincinnati that's a home dog. We know Cincinnati starts every season slow, and this year's been no different. 1-3 to start the season. As you said, because it is a division game and they're looking up at both Baltimore and Pittsburgh, this is basically almost a must-win game for them early in the season. Get it done. They're a division home dog. They know how to play Baltimore. And going back to that, start the season slow. Here's a stat for you on Cincinnati. After the first month of the season, since 2022, this team is 17-6 against the spread the rest of the way. And remember, that includes last year when they didn't have Joe Burrow for the remainder of the season. And, oh, by the way, when did Joe Burrow get hurt last year? Yeah, it was the second Baltimore meeting. They got beat up in that one. He got hurt. Rest of the season out. The first meeting was a 3-point game in Cincinnati. I'm going to look for them to get the job done here. I know that defense is suspect, but the offense is prolific. They've scored. They're getting better every week. And I'm looking for them to get the job done on Sunday in a must-win situation.
Marco D'Angelo says the Cincinnati Bengals are live home dogs on Sunday, taking plus points against the Baltimore Ravens. Marco, you've talked about some of your streaks. Anything else you want to promote before we let you go?
No, we're in play tonight for the Thursday night game. And tomorrow, be sure to check out, I will have some WNBA plays. Tomorrow night, we've had a great season in the WNBA. So check that out tomorrow. I think we're now 25-11 on the season. And I'm going to have a big play in a game tomorrow. So look for that. You get it all on that 7-day for $77 package.
There we go. Marco D'Angelo. Awesome stuff, man. Love having you on. Teddy covers. Let's keep this show moving. We have Bryan Power waiting in the wings. Dave Sharapan after that. But right now, it's time for What Did Bettors Learn?
We got to talk about the MLB playoffs. And we saw again yesterday about the modern era of the MLB playoffs. You can't lay a price. It's the opposite of the NBA playoffs, where the better team / chalk wins just about every series. 7 games is enough. In baseball, random things happen for 7 games. They certainly happen for 3 games. Last year, in the postseason, underdogs, my number showed 20-13-1 in 34 playoff games before the World Series. 20-13-1, just betting every dog blindly. This year, dogs are already 5-3. The Padres swept. The Brewers came from behind last night as shortest of short chalk. But once again, it's been a dog postseason already. I mean, just look. Yes, Astros, they have playoff experience, multiple championships. The Tigers are a sub-500 team against everyone, but the White Sox doesn't matter. Tigers sweep them. Tigers are hot. Astros are not. Starting pitching. Corbin Burns pitched a gem yesterday versus Kansas City. Didn't matter. Royals found a way. And basically, every relief arm available every night, even with aces on the hill. Seth Lugo got pulled for KC in the 5th. He's not the only one either. So it's not even like starting pitching is going to be your answer for the MLB postseason. So what are we looking for? 3 things in my mind. Current form / momentum. That means everything. 2, bullpens that are holding leads. That means everything. 3, plus prices. And that's what I'm looking for in the MLB playoffs moving forward. Not in action today, but the MLB postseason very much on my radar for the coming weekend. That's what I learned yesterday. Lawrence, back to you, my friend.
Teddy covers. You in play tonight?
I am passing across sports. I got no baseball, no NFL, no college football. There's 4 games in sports that I handicap, and I did not find an edge in any of them. You?
I have a 2% play up in NFL for my clients. We ran a promotion earlier on in the week, $99 for a month of all my NFL plays. The promo code is still NFL99, NFL99. So I picked up a bunch of new clients for the NFL for the month of October. Super excited that they're trusting me with this, but always stressed, full of anxiety. People are jealous of our jobs. I'm like, Anyway, I put up a play tonight, so my clients will get the 2%. For the rest of you who want to know where I'm going in tonight's game, it's only $15. Head over to WagerTalk. Cheap, $15. But that's it. Bryan Power. Dude, did you listen to Tuesday's show? Did you enjoy the show or no? No, you didn't listen yet.
I didn't listen to it yet. I'm sorry. Well, I got the recap from you. I felt I didn't need to listen.
Nah, man, recap. I gave you a quick 1-minuter. I thought you wanted to come on next Tuesday.
I do, but I had to prepare for this. There's a lot going on, Prez. You know how it is. Like Teddy said, there's 4 sports going on. We got the Major League Baseball playoffs, NFL, college. I got soccer, man. It was Champions League midweek. There's a lot going on. I apologize. I'll watch it right after this. I promise.
Oh, you don't have to watch it at all. David Talk, one of our listeners, writes, jealous of your job, who? Yeah, David, I agree. Who the hell in their right mind would be jealous of what we do? All we do is stress. All we do is have anxiety all night long while our clients are taking our advice with their hard-earned money. Look, I see it a lot. And Bry and Teddy, I don't know if you hear this stuff, but you got to see it too. People are like, oh, you're so lucky. You get to bet for a living. Yeah. I'm with you, David. I don't know anybody who would be jealous of what we do. It's stressful at the highest. I mean, look, I wouldn't like to be diffusing bombs. I would think that that's slightly more stressful. But we're right up there, Bri. We're right up there, dude.
Right. I will say this, Prez. Everyone talks about playoff baseball, so great. We heard Teddy talking about it just moments ago. Last night, in the top of that 9th inning, I had the Padres, and I was just contorted in the weirdest position. Just please, because let me tell you, playoff baseball is great, except when you have a 4-run lead early, and then it becomes a 2-run lead, and then it becomes a 3-run lead, and then it becomes a 1-run lead, and you're just hanging on for dear life, screaming, please, dear God, end this game. Let me get out of here. Thankfully, we did get out with a 4% best bet winner on the Padres, but it was not easy. We had a lot of cluster luck, as I tweeted in the second inning. No, I'm not videotaping.
Tweet that out, dude. Let's get into some NFL football. We got a game tonight, the Bucs and the Falcons. A really important game for these teams. I mean, Bri, there's no reason 3 of these teams can't be tied at the end of the season. That's how close the Bucs, the Falcons, and the Saints are going to be when all's said and done. Where are you going here?
Yeah, so I've got a play for my clients on the side, but I'm going to break down the total here on the show today. First thing I want to look at is last week's box score in the Falcons and Saints, another NFC South matchup. Atlanta wins 26-24. But I would say, and I think most would say, it was kind of a misleading final because both Atlanta touchdowns were not offensive. They recovered a muff punt in the end zone, and then they had a pick 6. 4 field goals as well for the Falcons. Guys, they were all 42 yards or longer, including the game winner from 58, which was set up by a pass interference call. The Falcons offense, if you can believe it, actually ran just 1 play the entire game in the red zone. Ironically, that 1 play was a touchdown pass that got called back due to holding. So some legit concerns on the offensive side of the ball for Atlanta, who also had to place its starting center on IR as well. So that's not good. You look at the first 3 weeks, they topped 17 points in only one of those 3 games, and that was the Monday Nighter against the Eagles, which they probably have to thank Nick Sirianni for more than anything. Now, speaking of Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, the Bucs had a strong offensive showing against them last week. Baker Mayfield throws for 347. Bucs win 33-16. But Tampa's offense, I still have question marks. They don't run the ball. They're 24th in rushing DVOA, and it's mostly still short passes from Mayfield. The Atlanta defense, I'm not a big Raheem Morris guy. Anytime somebody goes on the record and says stats are for losers, I'm not going to like you. But Raheem Morris has improved this defense tremendously. He's keeping doing a good job keeping receivers in front of him, not allowing a lot of chunk plays. And, Atlanta didn't give up any touchdowns in that opener against Pittsburgh. They've allowed just 21.2 points per game for the season. Tampa Bay has a cluster of injuries, Teddy, at receiver. No McMillan, no Palmer, Mike Evans limited in practice all week. And then, of course, we can't forget about the old primetime under trend. Obviously did not hit on Monday, but the last 3 Thursday games, 41, 27, 35 total points. I think we're going to be in that range here. So I would look at the under 43.5 in this division matchup.
Let me ask you just real quick. Are we looking for Thursday night unders in general? Is your thought process under before over because of the lack of prep time? Or is it, well, the defenses don't have a game plan either, and there's some more neutral than under?
It's matchup based, I think. I mean, I wouldn't blindly do it, but in this particular instance, we have an Atlanta offense who put up a misleading amount of points. I'm just probably, maybe begrudgingly, I'll start to, but I'm just not a Baker Mayfield guy, too, on the Tampa Bay. This is an offense last year. I talked about this over the summer. Did not have a lot of early down success rate last year. Unsustainable amount of success, in my view, on third downs. So really, the Thursday part of it factors in, but it's not the whole shebang, so to speak, I guess. I have question marks about both these offenses.
Bryan Power joining us, exclusive handicapper over at WagerTalk. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day and hit that like button, please. We have Ronald Kabang, UCapper Sports, just popped into our chat room. Ronald, congratulations on an incredible September. I don't know if you guys have been following Ronald, but his September month of betting, the whole month, 67% win rate, tops at WagerTalk. So really, man, shout out to you, Ron. Outstanding work. I hope you keep it up. Sorry to hijack your segment there, Bri, but hey, his numbers merited the pitch. Okay, Mets and Brewers. No follow-up here. Teddy will close you. Where are we going?
Yeah, so I found kind of an interesting angle on this game. Nothing for me on the side or the total, but I will take a long shot bet with Bryce Terang of the Brewers to record a stolen base. This is plus 330. So if you got some change you want to throw around, I recommend doing it this way on this game. In breaking down this series, guys, the one thing that stood out to me, Milwaukee 0 for 1 on stolen base attempts in the first 2 games. Why would that stand out to me? Well, in the regular season, they played the Mets 6 times, and they were 17 for 17 in stolen base attempts. Overall, a case could be made. The Brewers were the best base running team in all of baseball during the regular season, so I expect them, season on the line, maybe be a little more aggressive with runners on the base paths tonight. And the guy I want to focus on is Terang, because he was the team leader in steals, 50 during the regular season. And there was a game just last week against this Mets team, guys, where Terang was 3 for 3 on steal attempts. One game. He stole 3 bases. Now, he was moved down to 9th in the order last night. If that seems strange, it's not. It's because he doesn't lead off when the opposing team starts a left-hander, and you will have a lefty on the mound tonight for the Mets in Quintana. But when the Brewers faced Quintana last week, they had 2 steals against him. So just to make it real quick, the handicap, I think we see more aggressive base running from Milwaukee tonight. They were number 2 in steals as a team during the regular season. And my opinion, the guy that's the best bet to record a steal would be the guy who had double the number of steals of anyone else on the team. That is Terang. So plus 330 to record a stolen base. I think that could be a nice win here in game 3.
Stolen base props from Bryan Power. Great stuff, my friend. Talk about what you have going right now at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, if you missed my $5 play earlier in the week, good news. I've bundled it together now with my 4% game of the week in the NFL. You can get both plays for just $29. So far this season, guys, I'm 8-2 with NFL sides. That is 80%. Number 2, all NFL this season. Number 2, all football this season. So a very strong start in both NFL and college. Don't forget to take advantage of that 7-day special, just $77. That's $11 per day, I believe, if the math works out correctly, Prez.
Well, I'm not. I didn't hear a word you said. Get out of here,
Okay.
Brian. I love you, man. I was just checking with Dan if Dave Sharapan is here, and he doesn't seem to want to respond. He is. Okay. Teddy covers. We have Dan. What? Yeah, you're busy running the show, blah, blah, blah. Communicating with the host is a priority when running the show. I love you, Dan. And by the way, kick-ass pizza you made for your beautiful fiance a few nights ago. You guys should check it out on his Twitter. Teddy, it's time for your big game breakdown.
Big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. Ohio State minus 19.5. Total of 45 against Iowa. This one on Saturday in Columbus. Looking at the free WagerTalk live odds screen. And of course, we've seen only one recent meeting between these two teams. 2022 here in Columbus. 54-10 Ohio State. So the recent series history certainly is in favor of the Buckeyes. We know Iowa's going to shut down bad offenses. All right, that's another pretty darn good defense. We know they're going to shut down mediocre offenses, even good offenses, maybe some great offenses. That's how good Iowa's defense is. But there's about half a dozen teams in college football of NFL caliber offenses. You know the teams, Georgia, Alabama, blah, blah, blah. Ohio State's on that list. And I don't think that Iowa's defense is good enough to shut down the truly elite offenses. Will Howard's averaging, 9.9 yards per pass attempt. He's only 2 interceptions. Jeremiah Smith, Emike Buga, Carnell Tate, they got 54 catches between them. Their top 2 backs, both averaging more than 8 yards per carry. They faced a real defense last week in East Lansing and shredded them. Yes, there's a road trip on deck to Oregon for the Buckeyes. But the Big Ten is all about marquee matchups this year. And under Ryan Day, the Buckeyes have not really had a look-ahead problem. And this elite offense is clicking 38-plus in all 4 games. Before I talk about Iowa, I do want to let you guys know about 2 great offers right now. First, 7-day all-access pass, $77 at WagerTalk.com. Any capper, not just me, anybody. Great opportunity to get on board. Don't buy a play, get a package. See what we can do for you for a week. $77. Great opportunity to get on board. Just visit the website, WagerTalk.com, or my page, wt.buzz/TC. And of course, the Gold Sheet, which has been around since 1954. It's just $5 this week. Easy download. Check that out at WagerTalk.com as well. So Iowa, they're 4-0 to the over this year. Total is finally low enough after last year. And they can score against the Troys and the Illinois States, even against Minnesota. But Cade McNamara, only 5.9 yards per pass attempt versus that level of competition. 3 touchdown passes in 4 games. This is not a passing game that scares anyone. There's no no receiver on the team with more than 145 yards. There's no big play threats. If Iowa falls behind, they can't catch up. If they can't run, they can't win. The whole offense is running back Caleb Johnson and his 8.4 yards per carry. And Johnson ain't running for 8.4 yards per carry in Columbus. They lost 26-0 to Michigan last year, 42-3 the previous meeting with the Wolverines, 54-10 the last meeting against Ohio State, 35-0 versus Tennessee. This team, Iowa, we love them against everyone but the elites, but they can't hang versus the elites. If I'm playing, I'm laying. What do you think? Let us know with a comment below. We appreciate the likes, and certainly more than 175,000 of you have now subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. If you haven't done it, do it right now. You get instant alerts when our programming goes live. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers, we got 11 minutes left in the show. And like always, at 12:45, Teddy will say goodbye, and I will do the daily presidential address. Before we bring Dave Sharapan in, we need 2 minutes. Dave, you'll have your time, I promise. So I woke up today to an email. I'm going to read it real quick. Hello, my dad, Mike, just retired from teaching after 40 years. He absolutely loves watching and listening to Teddy covers his shows. He is by far his favorite handicapper. I think it would be an amazing retirement gift to give my dad a personalized autograph from Teddy, maybe an 8x10 photo. I will be willing to pay for the cost of the 8x10 photo of Teddy, as well as any postage costs. Please let me know, blah, 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 blah. Spencer. Firstly, Mike, if you are listening to the show, your kid is incredible and he's thinking about you. Secondly, what the hell are you going to do with an 8x10 photo of Teddy? Oh my God, that is the craziest, weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. maybe a blow up doll instead. I don't even know what the. Teddy, you should do this, dude.
So it's very flattering. And look, shout out Mike, right? Mike is who we're talking
the dad,
to.
Spencer's the kid. And yeah, right, we
Mike
love you, Spencer.
So Spencer, thank you for the inquiry. Mike, happy birthday. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. That's something I can do. The realistic, and thank you. It's unbelievably flattering.
Yeah.
But realistically, in the middle of football season, MLB playoffs, NBA, like this is the busiest 3-month stretch of the year. Between now and New Year's, don't ask me for anything. Just all I'm trying to do is work. So realistically, I'm not going to go out and sit for a photo shoot and then get some 8x10s and then get your address and then write it. I mean, I appreciate it. Ask me again in a few months. I'll try it. It's very unbelievably flattering. Happy birthday. Thank you. But it's not happening right now.
It's happy retirement.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you what,
Happy
Spence.
retirement.
Email me, Prez Wager Talk. I'll get your dad on the show so he can talk directly to Teddy. I'm going to do that for you.
Better.
Okay?
Yeah,
we'll bring Mike on live. Him and Teddy can have a moment. Dave Sharapan, everyone. Dave, that's pretty. Yeah. What do you got for that? What do you got about that, Dave?
I want to say hi to Mike and Spencer too. Congratulations on a decades worth of work and a retirement. I can't believe that Theodore did not have time to give this gentleman an autograph. I am shocked that it's that busy.
It's the
that Theodore cannot write his name on a piece of paper. That sounds like drama. Teddy, I always take your side. You know that. I mean, Prez is ridiculous most of the time, and it's drama on Thursdays. All right? We used to flex on Tuesdays. Now it's drama Thursdays. You don't have time I mean, what the hell are you doing? Big game breakdown? You don't have time to write.
I can write an autograph. I can't go write 10 glossy photo. That's the issue. I'm not going to sit for a photo shoot.
Listen, stay humble. All right. I know you have a stack of 8x10s on the side of your desk that you hand out when you go out.
Yeah.
I've seen it done.
That's me.
Okay.
You nailed me.
I know you have them. Goodness gracious.
He's got a briefcase full of them. But Dave, in all seriousness, let's not start with Teddy, okay? He's a little bit taken back. I don't know if I'd want an autographed 8x10 photo in some old man's home either. We're going to bring Mike live on air if Spencer can make it work.
The guy was a teacher for 40 years. He's cool. We love him. You know?
Yeah. We love teachers.
Educators.
We love Mike.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, Teddy, let's get some actionable info. Dave, where are you going tonight? Atlanta, the Bucs. How you betting this game?
I don't even know if I'm watching that game. I really don't. I'm pretty excited about the baseball and the decider, but if you got to play this game, I don't know. I mean, they're getting good two-way action. There's a little steam coming on Atlanta right now. Thursday night game, you know the routine, you know the script. It's a favorite and under. That's the only way I think I would play it, but I ain't going to do nothing with the game. I'm going to just watch it sporadically. I don't know. These Thursday night games I could do without. I really could. You know, and it's been tough sledding for the people. So I don't think anybody, I mean, maybe there's going to be interest in this one. Texas State, Troy, Sam Houston State, UTEP tonight. Zero interest for me. I haven't heard much of buzz about anything other than the dog being live in Troy to cover. But tonight's game, I don't know. Do you have a strong side? Well, I mean, you guys got to worry about selling the packages, so I don't want to give away anything, but I got nothing. Nothing.
Strong side, Dave. I'll answer that question. To me, it makes sense to play Tampa Bay here. I think it's going to be a really close game. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it goes to overtime. I'd rather the points. I just don't think it's a good spot for Tampa Bay. And that's sort of what's keeping me off of that. But hey, if you get plus a lot of money for overtime, I feel overtime.
Calling your shot. You feeling overtime?
Wow. Yeah, right. Feeling overtime.
I like it. Okay.
That's not a bet I've ever made. Is that what's the price?
There's no value on those bets. No value.
It's hard. picking a game to go.
Dave,
to
let's get some actionable info from you
Yes, sir.
when it comes to this week. Because there's someone, I mean, we have you on the show every week. You're a longtime odds maker and someone who has, I would say, your finger on the pulse of the betting community in Las Vegas as much as anyone else. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Let's talk about NFL Week 5. Who are the pros betting?
NFL
Who's on every
Week
parlay
5,
card? Talk
let's
to me about
see.
the action.
I got the NFL Week 5.
Who's on all
Jets,
the parlay
Vikings.
cards this week?
Jets Vikings is really it's really interesting. That's going to turn into one of the pros versus Joe's games for those of you that are new to that expression. A lot of the people that bet professionally are going to find their way to the Jets, and the public is in love with the Vikings. Continue to cover for them. They're undefeated against the spread, not only in the games, but also in the first halves. The Vikings have been really good and good for bettors. Let's see. Bears, good side. Colts.
What does that mean, good side?
That'll be the one that the pros will be on. They're waiting for that to come down or trying to drive that one down and play the Bears. That's just what I've been told. Colts and Jags, don't know. Another tough game. Listen, this is one of the hardest boards of the season.
Yeah,
Every game is 2.5, 3.5. There's 2 games that have big spreads. It is a really difficult. And I think what's happening this week, what my one buddy said, is that they're not showing their hand this week. There's really a lot. This is when it starts to get interesting. The public has gotten destroyed. This has been the worst start for the public in 20 years. People are getting beat up betting the NFL. They win on Saturday, losing on Sunday. I mean, it's been – guys are planning multiple trips after the Septembers that the books have had, really. So there's not a lot of sides that have been played yet, and they're waiting for that late move or late information on Sunday. I don't know. I like Broncos against the Raiders. And they're going to take the Giants again against the Seahawks is what I've been told, or waiting to get that thing to 7 if they can, drive it up. Steelers is the side Sunday night, but I'm biased. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. And Monday night, I mean, how many times do you have to fade the Chiefs? Like, it just continues to be, I don't know, cash money. Bet against the Chiefs in the first half, wait for halftime, and then bet on the Chiefs. They cover the second half. They cover the in-game stuff. That's been rinse and repeat. I don't know. Why do you think, after what you've seen from the Saints the last 2 weeks, do you think they're going to go and win? The Chiefs are going to get got. I don't think it's this week. I think it might be next week when they play the Niners. But that's it as far as NFL. It's a really, really hard week.
Yeah, Casey's on bye next week. They'll have the Niners the game after the bye. What about college football? And of course, the teams pre-bye have done very, very well. ATS, something that Ralph Michaels has pointed out. College football, we've got just a few minutes left with Dave Sharapan at SportsBKConsig on Twitter, the Sportsbook Consigliere. He does shows all over the place, on the internet, on air, everywhere. Dave Sharapan is a man about town when it comes to Las Vegas. What are you hearing for the college football action this week? Who do the pros like? Who do the Joes like? And who does Dave Sharapan like in college action?
Pros on Houston Friday night, and they've already laid it with UNLV against Syracuse. Numbers, one guy told me I'm waiting for 7. He's going to jump in on Syracuse if it gets to 7. So I don't know. I like UNLV. I went to the game Saturday. I'm going again to the game on Friday. It's been fun. They got an offense. They're trying to score 50 points every single game. That's what one of the guys from the coaching staff told me. So look for that game to go over again, although you might be better off playing UNLV team total. Pitt's going to beat North Carolina. Georgia's going to blow out Auburn. Clemson probably blows out Florida State. BC, good side against Virginia, although it's going to get the pick and they're going to buy it back and play Virginia. Let's see. I like Kansas against Arizona State. Tennessee, first half against Arkansas. Tennessee's covered every first half. Washington at home against Michigan, Teddy. You know the deal. Unranked team against a ranked team. Michigan going across the country. That has the makings of Michigan losing. I'm leaning Washington there. Ohio State's going to destroy Iowa. I couldn't have said it better. Iowa's not going to score any points against Ohio State. And State got a really interesting two-stretch. They got UCLA this week at home, and then they're at USC next week. So this one might be one of those, what's Marco call them, sandwich games, something like that. Might be dog plus the points, although UCLA stinks.
It's the sandwich spot. Look at that, Dave Sharapan bringing in the food references. We always appreciate your time, Dave. Talk about what you have going right now on all the various shows that you do, Mr. Sportsbook Consigliere.
Well, I got to put this on because I just got it, and it's not just for Johnny Detroit, but it's been all about the baseball for me right now. I can't get enough of it. It's been so good. The Detroit Tigers get it done. I like them. We had that one. We had the Royals beating the Orioles. It's Monday through Friday, Bostonian versus the Book. We'll be talking about baseball again every day. Sports Grid. It's called In-Game Live Game Day, which is at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. And then we just did one hit on MLB Network, so they kind of backed down the baseball coverage there. But let's go Tigers in the American League. That would be pretty good. And the Padres. I got the Padres shirt on, and I had the Padres hat on. Padres Dodgers is must-watch television, Theodore. It's going to be really good. And Phillies Mets is going to be good. Phillies even Brewers is going to be good. We're getting great baseball. Enjoy it. Thank you, guys. Prez, here's your address.
Dave.
Get it.
Dave, literally while you were speaking, Dan Alexander got an email asking for a lock of your hair. I don't think people know you're bald.
It's gone. It's clean. I don't have to listen. That might take.
And Teddy, I'm thinking they want a picture of you,
hair.
maybe to do some voodoo on it. Take us home, bro.
Oh, see you later.
That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the game and best of luck. And stay tuned right now for Lawrence's daily presidential address.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Daily Presidential Address. I'm Lawrence Presman, and we're going to take apart the New York Jets and Minnesota Vikings game. The line here is the New York Jets at +2.5. And before we get into that, and I'll be real quick, I just want to make mention again, I have a play up for Thursday night, and I have at least 5 plays going for this coming Sunday. I have a promo code to give out. Guys, if you've never played my NFL, this is the month to play it. I do well every single October. I made money last October. I'm coming into this October winning my last 2 weeks of betting for my clients. So use the promo code NFL99. That's NFL99. You get a month of all my NFL bets for only $99. Okay, New York Jets +2.5, playing in London at the Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium against the Minnesota Vikings. And let's get into this. I'm going to tell you flat out, the Jets are a bit of a mess. Their D has been outstanding. I get it. But if you look at who they have played, we still don't know how good this defensive unit is, but they have been outstanding so far. Their offense, however, have not. Last week, Aaron Rodgers was 24 for 42 with 225 yards. That is a horrible pass completion percentage. Not only that, but he was sacked 5 times. Is that a sign of a bad O-line or a sign of a man who can't move or a sign of both? Furthermore, his offense had 10 penalties. That is inexcusable. There is something out of sync with that offense. Now, I don't understand the play calling coming out of the New York Jets. A Rodgers-led team, Garrett Wilson gets 5 catches for 41 yards. What's going on, Hackett? Like, that doesn't seem like a good plan to me. Hall, 10 times he carried the ball for 4 yards. 10 times for 4 yards. I am absolutely convinced that I can get more than 4 yards if I had 10 carries in an NFL game simply by falling forward. Come on, Hackett. Get your act together. Now, talking about act together, Kevin O'Connell, what an incredible coach. and an offensive genius. I mean, this guy, talk about a quarterback whisperer. Sam Darnold has turned into Peyton Manning, and we saw what O'Connell was able to do with Kirk Cousins. This Kevin O'Connell, I mean, he just has the ability to design plays that get wide receivers open. And everybody knows the ball's going to JJ, and yet there he is, wide open, catching the ball. Here we have a game where the fourth best offense in the league in points scored, as in Minnesota, is playing a bottom feeder on offense. Minnesota is top half in the league in every single offensive stat. The Jets are in the bottom half. Sure, defensively, the Jets have some great numbers. I think I could assemble a defensive unit from WagerTalk, just their cappers alone, who could put up decent numbers playing the Patriots, Titans, and Broncos. Defensively, Minnesota had a rough second half against Green Bay last week. Other than that one half, they might be the best defense in all of football. I think we have a market that is completely overvaluing the Aaron Rodgers brand. Not only that, but I think they're overvaluing last year's New York Jets defense. And last year ain't this year. Look, if you close your eyes and you've never heard of Aaron Rodgers before, and you look at these teams, you have a 4-0 team who beat Green Bay, Houston, and San Fran against a 2-2 team who lost at home against Denver. You would think Minnesota should be minus 6.5. That's where we're going in this game. There is a ton of value on the Minnesota Vikings here. They are the better team. It is a short number. I think they get the job done. Take Minnesota minus 2.5. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.